This video is brought to you by Ridge Wallet, a slim front pocket wallet available in carbon fiber and titanium. With more than 250,000 sold, a lifetime guarantee and free shipping, get 10% off with the code GOLDFISH at ridgewallet.com.
Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So this week, it's M19 week here in Instant Deck Tech Land, which means all week we are going to be checking out decks influenced by new Core Set 2019 cards. And since it's Modern Monday, we're kicking things off with a sweet new M19 influence modern deck. This is Gigantosaurus Devotion. It comes to us from Mox Emperor, who took it to a 5-0 finish in a competitive Modern League on Magic Online. So congrats to Mox Emperor on a really sweet deck. A quick reminder before we break down Gigantosaurus Devotion for Modern. If you enjoy this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So Gigantosaurus Devotion starts off like a typical Devotion deck, although to be fair, it's almost like a hybrid green-red ramp / Devotion deck. This isn't your typical going all in on Nykthoses, 4 Nykthoses, and Genesis Waves, and trying to make all this mana with Nykthos. We're kind of like green-red ramp that's also taking advantage of this Devotion sub-package. So Nykthos adds a bunch of mana if we can get a bunch of mana symbols of the same color on the battlefield. For our deck that is green mana symbols, and one of the ways we're doing this is a combination of 2 new cards. So the big new MI19 edition is Gigantosaurus. So Gigantosaurus, just a casual 10/10 for 5 mana. Of course, the 5 mana all has to be green. However, in our deck, that's not a problem. In fact, it's kind of an upside because that's meaning 5 mana extra with our Nykthos Shrine of Nyx. We also get Steel Leaf Champion, which is just a very above the curve creature. It dodges Lightning Bolt, is a reasonable threat, coming down often on turn 2 because we got a lot of early game ramp. That's also adding 3 green mana symbols. So if we can get down our Gigantosaurus and our Steel Leaf Champions, not only do we have massive creatures that are hopefully going to be able to win the game on their own, but they're adding tons of mana, which allows us to just dump our hand at lightning speed of all of our threats and kind of overwhelm our opponent. So beyond the normal Devotion stuff, we have a ton of early game ramp. Utopia's Brawl, Arbor Elf, the Wombo combo, letting you make tons of extra mana really quickly if we have both on the battlefield. A Birds of Paradise as the backup, just an extra way to make a bit of mana. So these cards just accelerate us into our bigger plays, and now we have some non-traditional ramps. So Burning Tree Emissary is kind of a ramp spell with Nykthos because it's adding 2 mana symbols to the battlefield, plus it just lets us flood the board really quickly. We can play it, maybe play another copy of Burning Tree Emissary, top it off with something else like a Scavenging Ooze or an Elvish Visionary, and just get a ton of mana symbols on the battlefield really quickly, then make a bunch of mana and start robbing Gigantosauruses and so forth with our Nykthos. And then we also have a couple of Garruk Wild Speakers, which is another less traditional ramp spell. I mean, it ramps very obviously with the +1 untapping 2 lands, but in our deck, we're hopefully untapping Nykthoses or untapping lands that have Utopia Sprawls. So it's not like the +1 is add 2 extra mana. It's like add a ton of extra mana in the right scenario. Plus, we can always make beasts, and Garruk only needs to +1 time before ultimating, and the overrun ultimate is one of the best ways for us to win the game. We just play all these random dorks, tick down Garruk -4, overrun our team, trample over for the kill. The rest of the deck, we got a bunch of weird card advantage stuff. So Elvish Visionary, just a 2-drop, puts a green mana symbol on the battlefield, doesn't cost us a card. Runic Armasaur, another kind of strange new addition. You'd think Tireless Tracker would be the go-to, but in this deck, we got 3 Armasaurs and only 1 Tireless Tracker. So the idea here is, as our opponent's cracking fetch lands and maybe activating, I don't know, Grim Lavamancers, what creatures have activated abilities in Modern? There are some out there, but we're drawing extra cards. Also, it's got a really big butt, so it's blocking things up to like Hollow One, maybe Tarmogoyfs, and maybe drawing his cards along the way. Then we have Bloodbraid Elf and Domri Raid as even like less traditional card advantage. So Bloodbraid, one of the reasons our deck is just touching into red a little bit, along with a couple of other main deck cards and some sideboard cards, but comes down, gives us a body on the battlefield, and is coming along with a friend of some kind, a Runic Armasaur, a Tireless Tracker, a Utopia Sprawl. We're getting something of value out of the Cascade trigger. And then Domri Raid, our deck is extremely creature heavy, so we can just keep plussing, drawing extra card. We got big creatures, so if our opponent's playing a creature deck, we can fight, and if we ever ultimate, it is pretty much game over on its own. Rounding out kind of the utility creatures, we got one Scavenging Ooze, just main deck life gain / graveyard hate, one Acidic Slime, worst case we blow up a land, best case we get rid of an Ensnaring Bridge or something that's ruining our day. As far as closing out the game, along with Gigantosaurus, we have one Wormcoil Engine, big, lifelinking, not adding green mana symbols, but the lifelink is really key in some matchups. And then Rurik Thar the Umbode is basically our main deck Storm Hate or Eggs Hate. If our opponent's casting non-creature spells, they just really can't cast many without Rurik Thar beating them, because 6 damage to the face is a lot. That's like 3 non-creature spells until death, and we don't really have many non-creature spells. Finally, our last finisher, Craterhoof Behemoth, just tramples over and closes out the game. We have a ton of random dorks, so Craterhoof is pretty much just always game over when it enters the battlefield, but just a one of at the top end of our curve. As far as the mana base, bunch of fetch lands, some shock lands, a bunch of forests. In the sideboard, we get a bunch of removal, lightning bolts, abrades just to deal with creatures in the early game. Abrade also gets artifacts against like affinity and so forth. Natural state for artifacts and enchantments. A couple of creatures, Baloth for Jund, also life gain against burn and aggro, Thun to deal with annoying Jason Mind Sculptors, some matchup specific stuff, Relic for graveyard decks, Damping Sphere for Storm and Tron, Spellskite to hate on, Infect, and also just protect our stuff, Blood Moon to just jank opponents out of the game, and that is Gigantosaurus Devotion for Modern, and that's our Instant Deck for today. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.